Hello again. It's been a while. It feels like ages since I've done one of these on-camera videos. It probably has. Just I haven't had the time, just with a lot of things, just with work. I haven't been well a lot as well, just with like colds and stuff and losing my voice. Also, I got diagnosed with ADHD and autism. I'd already known that I'd had autism, but I got diagnosed with ADHD, and I've been getting treatment for that, and it's really helping. And I feel like I have a bit more space to do these videos again. Just also, this feels a bit like Blair Witch. I I'm sitting in my car. It's actually extremely cold. I just wanted somewhere quiet to film, so it's a bit rough and ready. I have my notes on my phone, and I'm filming with a light, and you can probably see my breath because it's so cold. So this is just going to be a quick update on the Leinster La Rochelle, kind of all you need to know. Leinster face La Rochelle tomorrow, the 10th of January, at Aviva Stadium at 5:30. That's the third round of the Champions Cup. Stuff that came up today: Leo Cullen was up for media today. I was at the online session, and the big kind of talking point was the injury issues, particularly in the front row. He said that Rabas Samani, he'd been ruled out with a calf injury. Ty Furlong had taken a head knock in training, and he was doing the return to play protocols, and obviously wouldn't be available this week. Also, Andrew Porter, he had a calf injury. Seems to be like a lot of calf injuries going around in Leinster at the moment, and he picked that up in training. I think he said yesterday, or it was during this week anyway, because he had been up for media on Monday, so obviously he had been fit to go at that point. And also, Jack Boyle, he had picked up a shoulder knock in that game against Connacht. But he could be back next week or the week after. A big thing as well was the opportunity for like the younger players, because of the absence of the Irish internationals, Andrew Porter, Tadhg Furlong, and Jack Boyle, and of course French international Rabah Samani. It was a chance for younger players to step up. And Leo Cullen was kind of looking at it from a positive perspective. Leo Cullen seems to really relish adversity and challenges and problem solving and things like that, which I think is obviously a big part of being a coach at that level. In particular, he kind of focused more on the positives of bringing new players in, younger players, and getting them exposed at Champions Cup level. For instance, Jerry Carr expressed how impressed him and the players had been about him stepping up from playing at club rugby level with Lansdowne, and how he's gone with Munster so far. He was also impressed by Andrew Sparrow, who was in the Leinster Sub Academy and is now in the Leinster Academy. And he just really expressed his faith in them to take the opportunity that this is. And it's going to be some opportunity going up against a really stocked La Rochelle pack, especially in the front row. We'll get onto that a bit later. He also talked in terms of younger players of JJ Kenny. He starts on the wing. Also, the fact that he kind of joined Leinster on a trial basis coming from the Sevens programme. And he hadn't been originally in the Champions Cup squad, but conversations in camp with the other coaches, he was a name that came up, and they felt that they had to add him to the Champions Cup squad. It's going to be a big occasion tomorrow. Obviously, it's being played up in the media as the grudge match to end all grudge matches, with over 40,000 supporters expected in the Aviva. So it'll be quite full, probably the biggest attendance for a Leinster game so far at the Aviva this season, with a strong travelling support from La Rochelle, who hopefully will be making a bit of noise in the Aviva. Leo Cullen said that La Rochelle and Ronan O'Gara brings a kind of derby-like mindset and intensity to this game, with Leinster being very aware of La Rochelle's physicality and the edge that they play with, and of the history lessons that have been doled out to them in the Aviva in past years. Leo was a bit coy when it came to what he expected from La Rochelle. He's more talking about focusing on Leinster themselves, and the goal for him was to build the best version of Leinster possible any given time, and build on the legacy of Leinster, and especially Leinster in the Champions Cup. The little bit that he did speak on La Rochelle, particularly looking back on their game this weekend, he said that they'd shown a return to forward power and dominant line-out drives. Also, obviously, like bringing that physical edge that they're known for. They're big players like Skelton and Antonio. But he also did highlight that they're coming into this game with only 1 win from 2, where Leinster have that 2 wins, that there could be slight desperation where Leinster are in a more secure position to move in to the knockout stages. Then just kind of looking at the injury situation at Leinster in general, he said Gary Ringrose and RG Snyman, they just didn't make it this week. They had trained this week, but they're expected back next week. Also, Jimmy O'Brien is close to return. Also, in terms of the longer term injuries like Hugo Keenan, he was back training. There's photos of him training on like Sportsfan Info, but he needs more time. But he's expected to be near enough there for the Six Nations. But obviously, he's lacking the game time, maybe lacking the fitness. But he should be ready to come back for at least the Six Nations at some point. Also, Jordan Larmour and Ryan Baird, they're kind of on the longer term. There's no real timeline for their return as yet. He was also asked about some transfer speculation on, namely, Joey Carbery. Obviously, Joey had previously played for Leinster, then moved to Munster, and then moved to France. He kind of gave a bit more information in the actual in-person, was a bit more positive on a potential return of Joey Carbery. But in the online, he said there was no concrete information on his return to Leinster. They acknowledged that as a player, they know him well. He's come through the Leinster system, pretty much come through UCD, Blackrock, and Clontarf, and they're a player. He's a player that they admire. And Leo said, he said, you can never have enough good players. When it came to having him, Sam Prendergast, and Harry Byrne potentially at Leinster next season. As for the team named, from through Kieran Frawley, Tommy O'Brien, Rico Ione, Robbie Henshaw, Josh Kenny, Sam Prendergast, Jemison Gibson Park, and then forwards, Paddy McCarthy, Dan Sheehan, Thomas Clarkson, Joe McCarthy, James Ryan, Jack Conan, Josh Van Fleer, and Caitlin Doris, who captains the side. Then the replacements on the bench: Ronan Kelleher, Jerry Carr, Andrew Sparrow, Dermot Mangan, Max Deegan, Luke McGrath, Harry Byrne, and Andrew Osborne. And for the La Rochelle team, apologies in advance if I butcher any of these names: Dylan Leeds, Jack Nowell, Jules Favre, Sumeli Downey Vaku, David Ninashvili, Ahaya West, Nolan Ligarak, Reda Wadi, Tolu Latu, Weenie Antonio, Charles Kante Samba, Will Skelton, Oscar Jegu, Lavani Batia, Gregory Aldrit, Contan Laspoek, Louis Ponvert, Alexandre Kuntenlia, Kane Douglas, Kirill Font, Thomas Bergeon, Antoine Astoy, Nathan Boulanger.
Pardonnez-moi, je suis en train de corriger. Je suis désolée parce que je sais que c'est de Boulanger, not Boulangère. Pardonnez-moi.
So, Pool 3 of the Champions Cup is really heating up. Leinster are in a pretty good spot at the moment. They sit second in the pool, level on 9 points with Stormers, but behind them on points difference. They've won both their matches and they've had 9 tries. Stormers lead the pool purely on points. La Rochelle, meanwhile, are down in 4th place with 5 points, 1 win and 1 loss. But they've also scored 9 tries. In terms of La Rochelle's form in Europe, they opened with a strong win, 39-10 over Leicester, but then they lost their second round away, 42-21 to the Stormers in South Africa. And then in top 14, they've been pretty inconsistent. They've 7 wins from 14 games in the top 14, only 2 from their last 5 games in the top 14. Overall, across the Champions Cup and top 14, they've won 3 of their last 5 games. Leinster, on the other hand, they had a pretty disastrous start to the season, but they've picked up form towards the middle half. They've won 6 of 9 games in the URC, including their last 5, which have been straight wins. For Leinster in Europe, they've been perfect so far. They beat the Harlequins at the Aviva 45-28, and then they had an away win against Leicester Tigers, and that was a 23-15 win. So in terms of their last 5 games overall, they're 5-5. So just to look at the other Irish provinces in action over the weekend in Europe. Also, going to Pool 2, Munster face Toulon away on Sunday the 11th at 1 p.m. Irish time. Munster are 1 from 2 in the opening rounds of the Champions Cup. They started off with a disastrous 40-14 loss to Bath in round 1, and then a 31-3 home win against Gloucester in round 2. The Munster team is as follows: Shane Daly, Calvin Nash, Tom Farrell, Alex Nankerville, Ben O'Connor, Jack Crowley and Craig Casey. And then forwards: Jeremy Loughman, Dermot Barron, Michael Alalatoa, Edwin Adogbo, Fineen Reachley, Tyke Byrne, captain, Jack O'Donoghue and Gavin Coombs. And then replacements: Niall Scannell, Michael Milner, John Ryan, Tom Ahern, Brian Gleeson, Paddy Patterson, JJ Hanran and Dan Kelly. Then to the Challenge Cup and Ulster, who their fans have kind of been thrown into chaos this evening with the announcement that their match has been rescheduled and moved to another venue and will be played behind closed doors, with many fans already having travelled to Amsterdam. This is due to adverse weather conditions. They had been due to face them at, I think it was 3:15, but they're now due to face the Cheetahs on Sunday the 11th at 1 p.m. now Irish time. Just reading out the statement that was on the Ulster Rugby website. EPCR has confirmed that Ulster Rugby's EPCR Challenge Cup Round 3 fixture against Toyota Cheetahs this Sunday has now been rescheduled to an alternative venue and will be played behind closed doors. Following inspections today, EPCR has confirmed that the venue change due to the impact of severe weather conditions in the Netherlands and associated venue considerations. The fixture will now take place at Duke's Rugby on Sunday the 11th, kicking off at 2 p.m. local time, 1 p.m. Irish time. The match will be broadcast on EPC Rugby TV, Supersport and Flow Rugby. And then for Ulster, they said they're seeking further clarification from tournament organisers regarding the implications of this decision and next steps, particularly for supporters who've already made travel arrangements. Rugby Netherlands has confirmed fans receive a refund for their tickets minus the admin fee. However, I've seen people on Twitter that have said that they have already made the trip to the Netherlands or they have made travel arrangements, so they're going to be considered to be a pocket for that. In terms of Ulster's form in Europe, they also have 1 win from the 2 games so far. They have a 61-7 home win against Racing 92 and a 29-26 away loss to Cardiff in round 2. The Ulster team to face the Cheetahs on Sunday is Bradley McNamara, Werner Koch, James Hume, Jude Postlethwaite, Zach Ward, Jake Flannery and Nathan Doak. And then the forwards: Sam Crean, Rob Herring, captain, Scott Wilson, Harry Sheridan, Joe Hopes, Dave McCann, Sean Reffel, Lorcan McLaughlin. And then the replacements are James McCormick, Eric O'Sullivan, Brian O'Connor, Matt Dalton, Marcus Ray, Dave Shanahan, James Humphreys and Ben Carson. And then finally, to have a look at Connacht, they play Montpellier on Sunday the 11th, 1 p.m. Irish time. They have 1 win from 2 also. Firstly, they opened with a 24-21 away loss to Ospreys in round 1. Then they had a 52-0 win against Georgia's backline at home. And the Connacht team to face Montpellier: Sam Gilbert, Shane Jennings, Harry West, Cottle Ford, Finn Tracy, Josh Ione, Ben Murphy. And then the forwards: Billy Bohan, Dylan Tierney-Martin, Sam Illo, Dara Moray, Josh Murphy, Cian Prendergast, captain, Paul Boyle and Sean Jansen. And then the replacements for Connacht, absolutely amazing name for rugby: Matthew Victory, Peter Dooley, Fiachra Barrett, Niall Murray, Sean O'Brien, Albert Lindner, Sean Walsh and John Devine. But that's just a quick roundup of what Leo said at the press conference ahead of Leinster versus La Rochelle, and just a quick roundup of where the other provinces are at ahead of this weekend. I can't wait. So which match are you particularly looking forward to? Is it the Leinster versus La Rochelle grudge match 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, whatever at this point? Is it the Munster Toulon game? Is it Connacht against Montpellier? Or is it the Ulster Cheetahs match, which now unfortunately will be played behind closed doors due to the freezing cold weather, which I'm starting to feel sitting here in my car. So I'm going to wrap things up. Thanks as ever for tuning in and watching the videos. Please like and subscribe. Please leave a comment if you have any feedback or anything. I just can't wait for another brilliant weekend of rugby, especially European rugby. It always seems a bit more special. I can't wait. So keep an eye on my channel for coverage of Leinster versus La Rochelle, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye now.